Hey everyone, making a little more informal video today, Rabbi Singer. Just pointing out the hypocrisy of the left makes me pretty nuts. Claim they're for women's rights. You see, they photoshopped the thing about Melania today. Unbelievable. They're trying to slander her while she's, helping the grieving people in tornado path. They're down there mourning, and the View is slamming them, who's supposedly for women's rights. Anyway, it just generally seems to show with the left that what they point the finger at is what their actual what they're lacking is what their crime is. We see Ocasio-Cortez saying about finance issues. She's being pursued for finance fraud. We see that the terrorist congressperson talking about dual allegiance. We see she has dual allegiance. There's a great video by Glenn Beck. I encourage you all to watch it about, I think it's called The Truth or The Story about Ilhan Omar. If you type Glenn Beck and Ilhan Omar, I'm sure you'll see it. But, he has the dates and the times in regards to the immigration fraud and in regards to her. What I liked very much is he made clear what he could absolutely prove and what just seemed highly likely. Like, if you see two people run around the corner, one with a sword and the other guy being running from the sword, and you get around the corner and you see the guy dead and the other guy holding a bloody sword and the guy bleeding and the guy dead guy from a sword cut, then it's very likely the guy with the sword stabbed him, but you can't prove it. You didn't see it. So he makes clear what's in that category and what's absolutely incontrovertible. So one of the important things that's incontrovertible is that she has worked for a place called CARE, CAR, who is the propaganda arm of Hamas, and she's directly raising money for the propaganda wing of Hamas. So I think we can see where her allegiance really is. And Hamas CARE's one of their primary stated objectives is to go after AIPAC. We see how she's been been like a one-track mind as far as that goes. Anyway, in a fundraiser, and she's worked for them. And it seems to be some pretty clear proof of campaign finance violations. And the things that weren't provable but seemed very likely was that she married her brother to get into the country and that she lied under oath in terms of the last time she's seen him. Those things I wonder about. I mean, like we see the people from the Mueller report, the people that are ending up, getting in trouble and having their lives turned upside down. None of those things had anything to do with what the investigation was designed to seek out. Now, people's lives are getting ruined over secondary things about an investigation that never should have happened. The dossier that led to that report was paid for by the Clinton Foundation. It's completely false. Bought and paid for. She should have been in jail. We now have information about how Obama's administration, his DOJ, was advised to lay off of her, maybe because they wanted her to win. And as soon as she didn't win, the same people cranked up the heat on Trump. Comey at one point says to Trump, we can't prove anything from this dossier. I want you to know it's there. But he says to the under oath that it was verifiable. A or B, pretty sure he'll be arrested soon. Anyway, Page said clearly she was advised to lay off Clinton. We know about the infamous tarmac meeting from the head of the DOJ under the Obama administration. This may climb all the way to Obama himself. He may very well be in chains. It should be nice. I'd like to see that whole swamp drained. I mean, that's the scariest part of this whole thing is the deep state abuse of power, people in power thinking they can run the country who are not elected officials. That's the most frightening part. Anyway, but it seemed very clear that she had, and when she was asked about these campaign finance violations, she says, well, they're just out to get me because I'm a Muslim or something. She doesn't respond to, I guess she had used some funds to fly, do some private traveling, which I don't know the laws well enough, but I guess that's not allowed. And when she said it, when they asked her, did you use campaign funds to travel? Well, we can see his supporters should be very concerned that he's using their tax dollars to go after a Muslim woman or something like that. Nothing of any substance that refuted the claims, but anyway, it seemed to be her strategy. One of the things, I guess, that I can't say she acknowledged, but she paid the money back, which to me means she acknowledged she gave the money back. And another thing she just chose not to comment on. Lying over an oath in a divorce proceeding last time you saw your husband, I'd certainly like to see her go down, but it's hard for me to see why that's the biggest deal in the world. Anyway, so it's important to stay informed. I don't really care that much about the college cheating scandal. I don't know why. I don't see a lot of value in college. I just think they're a big ripoff. I'd rather more worried about all the hate speech on the college campuses, thinking that they're about free speech and liberty, but what they're really about is shutting people down in violence. I mean, let's try to come back to the idea that actions speak louder than words. And, what you say is one thing, what you do is another. I mean, these people are violent and shouting and can't hear from another side and just spew emotion and not facts. So just remember who God is, where the facts are, and then just do your research. What I like about a lot of the walkaway videos I see enough people thinking for themselves. People are willing to think for themselves, and they want the truth, and generally they get tired of the hate, and they'll move in another direction, which is nice. And more are coming around. And when the videos I see, it seems like the vast majority of the people are Trump supporters, insane people, and it seems like the trolls all have these fake names, and I think it's one person with a lot of different names, and they never say things of content. But just encourage you to think for yourself, find the facts. Your feelings are one thing. If you don't like a person, it's another thing, or things he said. But I encourage you to look at a person's actions, and emotions are emotions, but try to look at what the facts are. I mean, do you want the plumber with the good personality, or do you want the plumber who can fix the pipes? So the economy is great. We're trying to secure the border. Well, that made me nuts today. This congresswoman in the budget committee was trying to give a hard time about some funding for single mothers, which I guess we can't afford all the programs that the Dems want to run, which is unfortunate. It would be nice to have unlimited money and run every program. But people more need a hand up than a handout. People want to work hard. A person prefers the labor of his own work rather than a handout. Handout is very hard for people. They carry a lot of shame from that. Anyway, but I'm pretty confident she voted for this bill that tosses, babies that have already been born in the garbage. And then it doesn't even matter the circumstance, or that that she pretends that she cares about the mother and the child. And she doesn't seem to care about all the women getting raped in the caravans. And she doesn't seem to care about all the murders happening from illegals. And she doesn't care about all the angel bombs. She tries to flip it. I just wish they would believe. I wish they would be the hypocrisy of the left is very hard for me. The slantedness is hard. I'm challenged by the First Amendment. I mean, I want people to be able to say what they want to say, but I just think they should be accountable. If I see you do something nice that seems nice, and then I ascribe all sort of malintent to you, there's no repercussion for that. I can say you did the nice thing because you have some nefarious plan that may come down in the future sometime, and you can't do anything. It just seems problematic to me. I wish people would need more facts, or there are more rules, or some type of penalty. Hit them in the pocketbook. Should be good. Anyway, those are the thoughts for the evening. Wish you well. Be well.